Augusta, Georgia. Of course, this weekend he will pursue another green jacket. He among the many who will be there looking to win golf's most prestigious prize. You can see the raindrops behind him. It's expected to rain today, and of course ESPN has complete coverage of the Masters the next several days. It begins tomorrow with the par 3 contest, a wonderful tradition. You see these players in an entirely different environment. The coverage is tomorrow starting 3 o'clock Eastern time. You'll see it on ESPN. It streams live on the ESPN app, so you can watch from anywhere. It's just an awesome month in sports, right? We got the Masters coming. We had the championship game last night. And now we have the NFL draft on April 25th, which brings us to McShay talking about his latest mock draft, which is released today, and it's the Grade A mock draft. Very quickly, McShay, for those who don't know, what exactly is that?
Kuiper is addicted to mock drafts. He wants to do one every single day. He asked me during the draft when my 2020 draft is going to come out. So he's created this new one called the Grade A, and it basically is what he would give himself an A grade on, and now I'm doing one with him. So that's it. Basically what I would do if I was the GM for all 32 teams.
Understood. And so Kyler Murray, you all expect to go number 1. And that brings us, of course, to Josh Rosen, who last year was in this draft. And as I said before the break, in a weird sort of way, is again. So help us, for everyone here. Where would he rank among the quarterbacks in this draft if he was a prospect right now?
I think he would be the first quarterback taken. And it's just a circumstance. It's that everyone is assuming and based on all the knowledge that I have, that Cliff Kingsbury wants a Kyler Murray type, a point guard, a guy who can get the ball out, can move it, and make things happen, create the space. And Josh Rosen is, the concern with him is, can he stay healthy? Does he want to be here for a long time? And mostly, can we function offensively with him as the quarterback, and is he going to be able to be on the field every week? You know, it's a little bit like a Sam Bradford. When he's healthy and things are right, he's great. He's really good, but you're always concerned about him and his durability, and I think that's one of the big question marks. But at the end of the day, they've got to move him, and then they've got to make the decision to take Kyler Murray at number 1 overall. We all think that that's exactly what's going to happen, but remains to be, the deal is not yet done, so we'll have to see.
Right, and for whatever it's worth, the team that would acquire Rosen is going to get him comparatively very, very cheap.
Absolutely.
And then let's go to Dwayne Haskins, who is my favorite quarterback in this draft. His stock seems to be dropping from what I can tell, and Drew Lock's seems to be rising. What are the chances that Haskins isn't even the second pick in this draft?
I think there's a legitimate chance. I really do. But if you go back and study the tape is most consistent when you look at Haskins. He is the most pure pocket passer in this class. He rose to the occasion several times. Late in the season against the rival, Michigan, Don Brown's defense, an awesome defense. Northwestern, you well know in the championship game. And then in the bowl game against Washington, that's going to have probably 6 draft picks on the defensive side and very well coached. He threw 14 touchdown passes and 1 interception. I mean, this guy is legit. The concerns, is he going to stay in great shape? Does he want to work at it, the process and all those sorts of things? I think he's going to be a really good pro. I think if he is put in the right situation and given protection, that he's got a chance to be a real stud.
All right, again, McShay's Grade A mock draft is available on ESPN.com. I'm looking forward to it. McShay, thanks a million. We obviously check in regularly as we work our way towards the draft. Now, back to basketball, because we've got Wendy here this morning, and the NBA postseason is right around the corner. And Wendy, as we sort of look at all of these teams that are getting ready to play in the playoffs and everything, you coined what I think is a very interesting phrase in our pre-show meeting today. You're calling this the playoffs of anxiety.
Yes.
Can you explain for our friend Mr. Rose why these are that?
I've never seen a playoff situation like this where you have the standard, we're playing for a championship and all the pressure of playoff series, etc. And then the layer that goes on top of it where these results this year mean so much to the future. And I've written a column that's going to come out tomorrow about this. If you look at the Warriors, for example, they're trying to win a three-peat. They're trying to put together a historic run here. But they also have uncertainty with arguably their best player, Kevin Durant. Does winning mean that he will stay, or does winning mean that he will go? And then if you're a Knicks fan, are you rooting for the Warriors to win because you think that may clear the decks for Durant to leave and come to you? Or do you root for them to lose to try to drive him out? That's a very bizarre situation. Then you come to the Eastern Conference. All four of the top teams, Philly, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee, all loaded with free agents. What does Kyrie Irving do if there's an early exit? What does Kawhi Leonard do if there's an early exit? Philadelphia has 3 of their 5 starters as a free agent. Milwaukee, Giannis is under contract, but they have 3 or 4 key free agents. Will this team sign and go into the luxury tax? And 2 of those 4 teams are getting eliminated in the second round. This is going to be a very interesting, delicate next couple of months.
Because depending on how you slice it, right, there's a lot of things that remain. Like a third of the league will be a free agent at the end of the season.
35 to 40%.
35% to 40% of the league will be free agents. So what do you make of this? All of the anxiety and all of the attention surrounding all these teams in the East and, of course, Golden State out West.
Here's what makes free agency unique this summer. All of the top guys have already won championships. Usually when somebody goes into free agency, it's to find a better situation and in hopes to pursue one. Well, all of these guys have already done it. KD, Kawhi, Kyrie, and Klay. So they're not necessarily picking destinations for that. A lot of these guys seem to be picking destinations for their happiness and things that come with the game of basketball because they were already accomplished.
Like what? I mean, what if winning is not the primary concern? I don't mean this critically. I'm just asking, like, what is Kawhi Leonard looking for?
Just think about it like this. For a guy like Kawhi Leonard, he said it. A long run can help Toronto maintain him, retain him, versus getting bounced in the first round. Like if Toronto makes it to their first NBA Finals, as somebody that played for that team, their fan base is amazing. Now all of a sudden you can't just walk away from that. But if you lose in the first round and you play bad, that makes it easier for you to leave.
If anybody out there knows what Kawhi, Kyrie, or Kevin is thinking, you will be bid on by multiple NBA teams. If you know, make yourself available, because I think that's one of the biggest uncertainties out there.
It's fascinating to me, and we talked about this yesterday, that when the big three came together in Miami, all those years later, with LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh, it turned out that they had all decided that well in advance. But what you're telling us is you think what happens in this postseason will actually go a long way towards dictating what these guys decide to do.
And it's not as simple as just who wins. There's all kinds of other shades of gray in it. As Jalen said, because these guys have rings, it does come down to happiness. But again, look at the way Kyrie Irving behaves and tell me what makes him happy. I don't know the answer. Kevin Durant is a 2-time defending finals MVP and has exuded unhappiness for months. What do you do? I agree, they are choosing happiness. Tell me what happiness is. Is it right there? Is that happiness right there? I don't know. And that's what we're going to find out. That's why it's so interesting.
What do you think of this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the most intriguing off seasons that we've seen. And this is where the NBA has gotten it. They have stolen the month of July away from training camps in the NFL with free agency hitting immediately on July 1st. And when you look at this, I think personally, if Kevin Durant and the Warriors win, is a better likelihood, more of a likelihood that he leaves Golden State than stays
Which
at Golden
is a crazy statement. I just want to point out that you have a three-peat and you wouldn't just walk away.
You're on the best team in the league. You're making as much money as a person could ever possibly ask for. You figure to be the best team in the league for an uncontrollable amount of time going forward, but I agree with you.
But it's the emotional aspect of what we've seen throughout the course of not just this season with KD, the burner accounts and all these other things that people talk about. They're looking and searching for something else. And maybe for KD, you get three rings, and the next thing you say is, you know what? I've done it, but I've done it on Steph Curry's team, and I want to do it on my own team.
Correct. You brought up the word emotion, and that's exactly where I wanted to go, Bud, because for KD, we've seen him win a couple of championships and seem to be miserable in doing it. For Kyrie, he joined a better squad from the Cavs to Boston, seems to be miserable doing it. So now for both of those guys who have seemed to got so very close throughout this year, it's only seemed right that they now team up, that they can show the world that they can actually get it accomplished together.
They are the playoffs of anxiety. They begin shortly. Don't forget, Wendy's book is available right now, LeBron Inc. We'll take a break.
Just buy the book.
To do, and First Take is on the way coming up this morning as well, right after we wrap up here. We will celebrate the winners. Final thoughts on the final game. Virginia, the national champs. Next on ESPN. And don't forget to get up with us Wednesday morning here on ESPN. Jalen Rose on what the Rockets and Thunder tells us about the playoff picture. Jack Nicklaus and Curtis Strange join us live from Augusta. And we'll have one of the top pass rushers in the draft joining us in studio, Clemson's Christian Wilkins. All that and more tomorrow morning You're on ESPN.